Here's how to overcome the dread of dinner time. Use your air fryer. I'm Kathy, and today I've got air fryer recipes that are perfect for 2 people, plus some pretty handy tips coming right up. You ready? Let's go. Nothing says fall like acorn squash. Well, pumpkins say fall, but I love acorn squash. And today we're gonna use this as a base for an entire meal. For this recipe, you'll obviously need an acorn squash, some peppers, onions, Italian sausage, or you can use ground beef and ground turkey, and some marinara sauce and a little salt and pepper. So first, cut your squash in half and core it out, then smother it with some butter. Then pop in the air fryer at 370 for 25 minutes. Now we're gonna cook up a pound of Italian sausage. And I know you're thinking 2 things. Number 1, Kathy, why aren't you using your air fryer for that sausage? And number 2, Kathy, I don't need a whole pound of Italian sausage. That's way too much for me and my other person. Hang with me. First of all, I just want to give you permission to use your stovetop. It's okay to do that occasionally. And second, I've got a great tip that's gonna save you some money and make your meals last longer. So watch for that at the end of this recipe. So brown your Italian sausage. Like I mentioned, you could use ground beef or ground turkey. And while that's browning, prep up your veggies. I'm just chopping my yellow and red pepper and my sweet onion into nice big chunks. You can do whatever size you want. Now that those are prepped, that Italian sausage is just about done. So go ahead and remove it from the pan. And I'm gonna just drain mine on some paper towels to get rid of some of that grease. Now, since my air fryer is still busy cooking up that squash, I'm gonna just use my pan to saute the veggies. I know you're shocked. Again, it's okay. I'm just gonna saute these with some olive oil at about a medium-high heat. Now that we've got about 5 minutes left on the squash, I'm gonna give it the fork test. Now mine is pretty much done, but I wanna cook it up just a little bit more. So to keep it from burning, I'm gonna drop the temperature down to 320 degrees Fahrenheit for the last 5 minutes. At this point, the veggies are almost done, and once they are tender to your liking, add the meat right back in, and then pour in however much marinara sauce you want. And then I'm just gonna let that simmer while we finish prepping up the squash. And look how beautiful that is. You could either enjoy the squash right inside its little outer layer shell thingy, or scoop it out with a fork and put it on a plate. Then all you have to do is get your meat and veggie sauce and top it right on top. Oh my goodness. And let's talk about the leftover sauce. What I suggest you do is put it in a freezer bag, label it, and then save that for another night. You could use it for like spaghetti or make this meal again. It's just gonna save you time and money so you don't have any wasted like half onions or half peppers, right? Now let's see what my oldest and my youngest daughters have to say about this one.
I think it's pretty good. What do you think?
I want different food.
You want different food? You don't like it? How many stars? 3? Tell people what you think. You don't like, what do you not like? It's acorn squash.
The acorn squash and the onions and the peppers.
You don't like any of that?
I don't like it.
Alright.
And I don't really, I like this.
You like the meat?
The meat.
And the sauce?
Kind of, but I don't like the other ones.
Gotcha. Alright, thank you.
I want you food.
Now this is perfect for 1 or 2 or even more. It's a great snack, lunch, but mostly a delicious breakfast. And it involves air frying eggs. Did you know you could air fry eggs? Yes sirree Bob. Here's what you're gonna need. We're gonna use at least 2 eggs. Do as many as you want. A tomato, avocado, and you could use bread, English muffins, bagel, whatever sort of sandwich grain you like. Now let's start with the eggs. Today I'm cooking up some extra eggs just because I want them on hand for the week and meal prep. And here is a little pro tip when it comes to hard boiling eggs. Add 1 extra egg in your batch and we're gonna call it your sacrificial egg. I'm gonna explain that in just a minute. To air fry eggs, put them in the air fryer basket and air fry them at 270 degrees Fahrenheit for 14 to 15 minutes if you want a hard yolk, 12 to 13 for a jammy yolk, and 10 to 11 minutes for a soft yolk. By the way, I've got this recipe on page 15 of my cookbook. you can snag it at yummyairfryrecipes.com. Now I did mine for 13 minutes and it's time to check on the sacrificial egg. I personally like mine a little more cooked, so I'm gonna throw it in for 2 more minutes at 270. And now that they are done, throw your eggs right into an ice bath. Give it at least 10 minutes and don't worry, those little brown specks will wash away too. Now it's time to make the sando. I'm gonna toast my English muffins in the toaster today. Yes, you can air fry these as well. I'm just showing you all the options. If you want to air fry your English muffins, do it at 350 for about 5 to 6 minutes. While it's toasting, peel your egg, pour up your avocado and tomatoes, throw on a little butter, and then lather up your English muffin with those avocados, egg and tomato, and a titch of salt. Of course, all of this is optional, but yum, yum. Here's what Mal has to say about it.
Oh my. I give it a 5.
You like it?
Mm-hmm.
What do you like about it?
The seasoning, the salt.
Have you ever said to yourself, I wish Cathy would slow down, she's making these recipes too fast? You are not alone. However, because I'm creating these for YouTube, I have to keep things snappy. But what if I told you there was a way to cook with me, like right with me in my kitchen every single month? I am thrilled to announce Cooking with Cathy. It is where I will send you the recipe and the shopping list every month. Then we hop on a Zoom call and we have like this fun 2-way connection utilizing technology to actually cook together and connect and have a great time together. It all happens real time, so it's a slower pace. You can ask me questions as you are making the exact same meal that I am. And we get to do that with a whole group of air fryer lovers just like you. That's not all. I have a lot of other awesome features just for my Cooking with Cathy members. So go to empoweredcooks.com/members to learn all you want to know about the membership. I will link to that down in the description box below and at the end of this video. Up next, rainbow roasted veggies and chicken. This recipe is one of Haley's favorites for meal prepping, so I asked her to make it for us. And here is a list of rainbow veggies we are using today. For the red, we got tomatoes, orange bell pepper, yellow squash, green, I'm using frozen broccoli, blue, I don't even know of any blue veggies, so if you know of a blue veggie, tell me in the comments below. Purple, I'm using a half of a red onion because it's actually purple. And then she likes to serve this one with chicken. And for the seasonings, you probably have all of these on hand. Minced garlic, Italian seasoning, salt, pepper, red pepper flakes are optional if you like a little heat, paprika, and olive oil. So first we're gonna combine the seasonings. It's a half teaspoon of minced garlic, a half tablespoon of Italian seasoning, half teaspoon of salt, quarter teaspoon of pepper, quarter teaspoon of those red pepper flakes, quarter teaspoon of paprika. Mix that up and then it is time to chop up your veggies. Just make sure they're all in about similar sizes, bite-sized pieces, and yeah, this is a lot of vegetable chopping to do, but it's a great time to call in some extra help because it's so worth it. It's so good and healthy. It's worth the extra effort. Then chop up your chicken and holy cow, look at this beautiful and colorful arrangement of veggies. Now again, I know what you're thinking. Cathy, this is way too much food for me to eat all by myself. Well, like I mentioned before, Haley does this exact same recipe for her meal prep. So make all of this up and then you can store leftovers and enjoy it for lunch or dinner for the next few days. If you need to stretch it out even further, eat it on top of rice to make it go a little bit longer. And if you're like my kids and you really don't like leftovers, cut the recipe in half, but instead of having all of these half peppers and half onions, what I suggest is just picking out maybe 2 or 3 vegetables instead of the entire rainbow of vegetables. Okay, now it is time to air fry. Dump all the veggies and chicken right into the air fryer. And I know what you're thinking again. I'm so smart. You're thinking, Cathy, in your 12 air fryer mistakes video, you say don't overcrowd the air fryer, which is true. But in this instance, these veggies, the chicken, they're all gonna shrink up while they're cooking. And you can see, even as I stir this around, everything's just kind of sinking down a little bit lower, so I'm not overfilling the basket. And of course, we are always going to stir this once or twice during the whole cook time to make sure everything cooks nice and evenly. Now, when there's just a few minutes left, go ahead and throw in your tomatoes and check this out. It is cooked to perfection. Oh, so colorful and beautiful. Let's see what Logan has to say.
I give it a 4 out of 5 because I think the chicken, no, it's kind of like spicy, but it's good. Boston.
This one's another fall favorite. It's the entire meatloaf dinner in one air fryer. Now for context, I'm just using the rest of the beef that I had, and it's almost 1 pound here. And today I'm just gonna make meatloaf like my mom always used to, which was just kind of throwing a bunch of stuff in. But if you like detailed recipes, I have a super yummy one on page 45 of my cookbook. It's a yummyairfryrecipes.com. I'll also link to it below for you. But my mom would just kind of throw stuff in, and that's what I'm gonna do today. So I've got about a 1/4 cup of oatmeal. I'm gonna just throw in some salt. Actually, that's pepper. And now some salt. And I've got some onion powder. And I'm just throwing in some garlic powder. And my mom would always throw an egg in there. Whoops. And then I've got some chopped onions that I have on hand. I'm gonna throw some Worcestershire sauce in. My mom wouldn't do this, but I love it, so I'm throwing it in. And then yes, we would always throw in just a little bit of mustard and of course, ketchup. And then, yep, we would just throw our hands in there and mush it all up. Let me know how your mom always made meatloaf. Was she like my mom, just kind of wing it, or was she a little more structured? Now, in my opinion, this is looking a little too wet, so I'm gonna just throw more oatmeal in there. Maybe you do breadcrumbs. My recipe in the cookbook actually used crushed saltine crackers. So just whatever works. Again, lots of options with this. If you have like silicone muffin liners, you could do individual portions in these. You could use a ramekin. If you're making a big batch, I would recommend putting them in whatever you're gonna bake them in and then freeze the rest. You can just cook up what you're gonna eat tonight. But what I'm gonna do is just get like a portion of this, about a 1/4 pound of this, and kind of make my own little loaf. The key to this is having it about the same thickness throughout. That way it's gonna cook nice and evenly. Then you're gonna just put this to one side of your air fryer, and I'm gonna give this a little head start. I'm gonna bring that up to 380 and cook that for about 5 minutes. While that's cooking, you're gonna go ahead and wash a potato, pierce it a few times with a fork, then you're gonna pop it in the microwave for about 4 to 5 minutes. And the third part of this meal is gonna be a veggie. Now, usually I will pull out some frozen broccoli and throw that in, but I have some peppers and onions. I'm gonna chop those up. The thing to consider is whatever veggie you choose. If it's more of a root type of veggie, it's gonna take longer to cook, so you would wanna throw that in right there at the beginning with meatloaf. But for these peppers and onions, 10 minutes tops will cook these beautifully, so I'm just gonna have them ready when I throw the potato in. Okay. The meatloaf got a little bit of a head start. I'm gonna throw my potato in there. And I actually really love to add a little oil to my potato because it just makes it super moist inside. A little salt. And then this third little spot, whoops, well, I dumped it everywhere. So that doesn't matter though. We can just throw this all over, get all my veggies in there. And I'm just gonna spray those a smidge. And if I was more graceful, they all would have landed right about here, but you know me. Okay, so that's gonna go in. Bring this up back to 380 and we'll give it about 12 minutes and see how that goes. Now there's always a few different factors to consider when you're cooking up beef. It's gonna depend on the thickness, so whatever container you have it in, or if you have it thinner, more like a hamburger patty, that works too. The key to success is an instant read meat thermometer and knowing what temperature to cook it to. Now I have a free download that I give to all subscribers of my newsletter. It has all of the internal temperatures for ground beef. It even includes baked goods. I just have this taped to the inside of my cabinet door right above the air fryer I almost always use. So if you just go to internaltemperaturecharts.com, put in your email, I will email you that free download and you'll get my Sunday morning emails that come with more air fryer recipes plus any little facts and tidbits about me every Sunday morning. Oh, and silly me, I forgot to turn on that shake reminder, but it doesn't matter. I can do that whenever I want to. It'll still do the right time for me. Let's just take a quick peek here. My baked potato is coming in at 140. Ground beef, oh my goodness, it is almost done. I think I'm looking right on track. I'm gonna go ahead and just rotate my potato so that other side gets crispy. Stir up my veggies a little bit. I'll go ahead and just flip my meatloaf. Now, usually I'll make like a little ketchup, brown sugar, nutmeg glaze. And then I'll just put it here on the top at the very end. But I'm gonna skip that for today. And since I'm so close to being done, I think we can get this done in about 2 more minutes. I'm gonna crank that up to 400 just so I can crisp up the other side of the potato faster. While that was cooking, I just got my little parchment paper liner here and I made up the rest of my meat into meatballs. I'm gonna freeze that for later. This is done. Let's just give it a double check here. Temperatures are looking on point. I'm gonna just let that rest for a few minutes. Leave it right there in the air fryer. And just like that, an air fryer meal for one. Okay, lots to choose from. You love potatoes, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Little pepper, little onion, little meatloaf, little potato. For me, 5 all the way.
I give it a 5.
You love it? This one's on page 90 in my cookbook. And my oldest son, Aaron, it's one of his favorite meals to make as a single dude. And for this one, I'm gonna just take the tray right out of the little basket and we'll just mix everything up right here. So we're gonna go ahead and half the recipe. It calls for a pound of chicken. We just threw in about just over half a pound of chicken right there. Then we've got a 12-ounce bag of veggies. And again, just throwing in about half the bag. And you can use any vegetable blend that you love. And we'll do about a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic clove and a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. We love the garlic. 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and then a 1/2 tablespoon of Italian seasoning. You could do less or more. And then we need to add some oil to help all those seasonings adhere to the food. So you'd want about a 1/2 tablespoon of oil or just spray it on. And then I'm gonna just stir everything up. Now I decided to experiment this time and take that rack out. I just want to see how it cooks in here without the rack. So we will find out if that's a pass or a fail. So then just kind of make sure everything's in a somewhat even layer. And we're going to pop this in, pop it on, and we're going to bring it up here to 400. And we'll do 10 minutes. Might need a little bit more time since we're running a little bit smaller air fryer. All right, this one's been going for about 4 minutes. Looks nice already. So I'm gonna go ahead and just give this a quick little stir. Bottoms, yes, they are still raw, so we definitely need some more time still. So pop that back in. Okay, let's check on these right here. There's a nice clean meat thermometer. Almost there. I'm gonna do something a little fun since we have this air fryer that goes up to 450. I'm just spraying it a little bit lightly. I want it to like char, really char those tops. So I've got that steak setting. It brings me right up here to the 450. And I'm just gonna do like 2 more minutes, highest temp with oil, and it's gonna go great. By the way, did you notice that these have a preheat button, a shake reminder, a keep warm button? I don't know if you can see those. Really like this nice glass interface. It's easy to be looking at everything when you're standing, and just a beautiful little unit right here. Alrighty, let's take a peek. Looking beautiful. Right there. All of that could be 1 or 2 meals depending on who's eating, right? This one, 5 stars all the time. I've got more recipes for 2 right here. Come join me in my kitchen and let's cook together, learn more right here. And you might like this one too. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.